Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be filming my first ever Faith Q&A video. I have been wanting to do one of these for a while now and was inspired by one of my favorite Christian YouTubers out there. Her name is Hey Miss Katie on Instagram, so go give her a follow. And she has awesome content, awesome vlogs, and also is very open about speaking on her faith and relationship with Jesus. And I am totally inspired by that and also want to do the same here with whatever I do on this channel. I love speaking about faith, so everything in this video is going to be spoken from the heart. I didn't pre-plan or rehearse any of this. I just want all this to be on the spot and just super honest and completely raw, and just hopefully inspire some conversation on maybe like questions that all of us as Christians have and some of us that we struggle with. So I just honestly want this to be a time where it's okay to have questions and it's totally okay to talk about them and get some advice, but also going back to the source, that's Jesus, where we get all of our answers and everything that we need. So without further ado, let's dive in and talk about faith. What is the most beautiful part of Catholicism for you? So for those of you that don't know already, I am not Catholic, I am Protestant, but with my exposure to the Catholic faith, and seriously, like exploring it more so during my high school years, I definitely saw myself really attracted to Eucharistic adoration because I would always go to these events called holy hours with campus ministry, and they were just really cool opportunities to allow myself to really focus in on prayer and worship. And to this day, I still feel like those times in adoration really just help me recenter my focus, because a lot of times I'll get so easily distracted by the smallest things in worship and prayer. I don't know, there's just like a lot of words to describe it. I just see Eucharistic adoration as a really special time with a dedication to prayer and worship, and there's prayers in Latin. I still don't know by heart, but like I'll know like little parts of it, and it's just really cool to experience something that is so powerful, but also the main purpose is to encounter Christ. So I would definitely say Eucharistic adoration is something that I've always loved about Catholicism. When was the first time you realized God was real? The first time I realized when God was real was definitely during the time when my father had a heart attack. I was very young, so I don't really remember the time that much. His survival rate was 50-50, and through that trial for like my family and my loved ones, we were really just like leaning into prayer. I really recognized that God was real through the power of prayer. I still believe to this day that the power of prayer just really showed me who God was, and that God is real, and that the power of prayer can do so much. But of course, with that comes faith. So the faith is really where the action takes place. Is it okay to be seeking help from others even though we're supposed to rely on God? Absolutely. I think, the key thing to remember here is that the whole purpose of, Christianity is that we weren't meant to do this journey with Christ alone, and that's why we have the church. We're always reminded that we're really not alone in this, and that it is totally okay to talk to other Christians that are also walking the same journey with us. And of course, it's always important to seek help from God, but I think He also encourages us, not to completely isolate ourselves from everybody else and just go to Him for everything. He also wants us to, not be afraid to have hard conversations, and like conversations that we might feel uncomfortable to talk about. It's definitely really important to go to God and always seek Him first, but sometimes that doesn't always happen, right? I could think of so many times where something happens, no matter if it's good or bad, and I won't always go to God first. It's hard for us as humans to go straight to God because we're so inclined to just go to whoever we trust and whoever's in our inner circle to talk about everything to. God is always our comfort, and He is the main source that will really offer that peace and consolation when we're seeking that help that no one else could really offer to us. What was a transformative or turning point moment in your faith? My first year of college, because that was when I was away from home and I was forced to, like live on my own without seeing my family all the time. So that was something that was really, really tough. This was the one point in my life where I really just continually pressed in and kept leaning on Christ to get through like most days, and like literally every single time I would be feeling like sad or um, overwhelmed or stressed, whether it was like school related stress or just living away from home. I really feel like I was challenged to really lean on God and really saw my need for Christ and just really helped me realize and understand like why my faith is like the foundation of my life, and it really is. And I just, it's something I can't live without. And when I look back on that time in that first year, I'm like, what would I have done like without having my relationship with Jesus, like to get me through the loneliness, the anxiety, or the stress about like whatever was going on around me, even if I wasn't part of it. Even if like I was walking around campus and like I heard stuff that like to me like it just doesn't sit right. I remember this one time where I just felt like there was like this shield around me. None of the stuff of this world that I was being exposed to or like that was around me that I personally didn't like hearing or I just didn't want in my heart. I feel like this shield was kind of protecting me, and I was kind of just like in this bubble of like, like you're with me, and that's something you'll never lose, even if the world tries so hard to take it away. Our faith and our relationship with God is something that really can't be taken away, and it's something that the world could never give to us. The peace and like joy that we experience living for Christ. I did find some joys in this first year of college too, but looking back, I'm really thankful for the example of my Christian roommate, Renania Pangan. I love you so much, girl, and you're such an important part of my life, and I'm really, really blessed that you are part of this transformative moment in my faith. What is your favorite worship song? You guys. Oh my God, there's so much good Christian music out there. I don't know if I could just pick one. Like, you guys are gonna think I'm crazy. Look at this. I don't know if you guys could see this, but I literally have like 150 songs on here. And if that doesn't show you like how much I love Christian music, I don't know what will. So I guess I'm gonna have to pick a song that like I'm jamming to recently. I'm gonna say Run to the Father by Cody Carnes. That's a song that I first heard when I was working the tech ministry over here at my church. It's just a really powerful song, and as my ministry mom said this week, she was like, it's just one of those songs that just has you down on your knees and like just full on worshiping Jesus, and I totally agree with that. And every single time I listen to this song, like I always have like these times like now during break where like I'm kind of just relaxing and like stay up a little late at night. I literally just lay in my bed, just jam to my Christian music, and it's just a nice time to just like worship and praise Jesus and kind of just lay there, relax, just listen to the words and just listen to how God's speaking through these incredible musicians and these people that He calls His beloved. And I'm just like, yes, like I love a good worship song, and I feel like Run to the Father, Cody Carnes really just sums up, who God is and how He reveals Himself to us. What does your daily routine look like when it comes to living out your faith? So my daily routine of how I live out my faith goes a little something like this. Usually I will start off the day doing a devotional from like Emily Wilson devotionals or any other devotionals that I have, or I'll use the Bible app where I'll follow a plan and I'll do it set by the day. So like for instance, today I started a new plan helping me understand why the Bible is so important in our faith and like how we could use it. And then from there, like, of course, I don't really know what my day is going to hold. So, like, I always have a plan, but I kind of just let God lead, like, who I'm supposed to meet, who I'm supposed to see. So, wherever I am, I just strive to extend His mercy and compassion to whoever I'm with, and also just be a light to those that don't know Christ or to anyone really, because I'm just so passionate about making Christ known, not so much through like my words, but I think of it more as like, like what God's doing and showing me through actions. So I just feel like actions speak louder than words when it comes to living out our faith. So I think I'm going to leave it at that because I honestly don't know what to say. Okay, guys, this is probably like the question that I'm a little bit more afraid to answer because it's so like the depth of it. You know what I mean? Like when you read a question and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a real deep one. Like, how am I supposed to answer this? I'm gonna try my best with this one, even if I don't have the full answer for you, but I'll try. Okay, here we go. One question I have pondered is when we pray, how do we know if the answer is our will or God's? That is a tough question. But what I find really helpful and comforting to me is the first thing that we should really do in order to properly classify what is defined as our will versus God's will is, I think, first, just recognizing where our focus is. Is our focus on ourselves and the world around us, or is it more focused on seeking Christ Himself, right? So I think when it comes to, like figuring out the difference between, like our own voice and our own plans for our life versus God's plans for our life, I think it starts there. Is like, where are we investing our heart and our time and our mind and our energy to? I think it's really, really important to just seek Christ rather than the things that we want from God, you see? I think it's really just about realigning our focus and just really pressing into changing our perspective of, okay, like what's in front of me? What does God have in my life in this current time, in this moment, that I see as a blessing or something to praise Him for? Recognizing the areas in our life where we can or should praise Him for, rather than just focusing on like, okay, this thing that I really, really want, I'm going to talk to God because I really, really want this and I want Him to just pull through for me. But we can't just come to Him like that, Like, we really have to allow ourselves to really just press into what's most important and just really invest our whole entire self, like our heart, our soul, our mind, to Christ. When we do that and really just surrender our lives to Him, there's times where we're gonna have to rededicate our heart and, like why we followed Christ and what's the whole point of, like following the faith. Once we surrender ourselves to Christ and our hearts to Him and fully, like wholeheartedly mean that, and just be like, God, take whatever's in front of me and it's all yours. None of this is mine. It all comes from you. And just by that one simple act, we'll find so much peace and hopefully get to some answers that God has about His will for our life or whatever you're asking Him for. And once we do that, it's just such a comfort, Like, imagine if we had to like figure out our lives all on our own, but we have this God that has all that figured out. Can you tell us why you make time each morning to start your day with a simple prayer or Bible verse? Surely. If you know me, I'm really passionate about starting my day with prayer or some kind of devotion or some little thing to, give me some inspiration and encouragement. Without it, like that just determines my whole day. If I don't do my devotional and, I'm on my way to school and I choose to use that time to, maybe do extra reading for our class or just scroll through my phone on social media because I'm stressed about what school has me stressed about. That's not the best way that's going to start off the day. For me, when I do a devotional or just use like my time wherever I am to pray and kind of just have some time to myself, it just makes me feel more at peace about, like what the day has in store for me. Because if I don't do that, I just feel so like I just have this feeling that's really unsettling. And I feel that's why, like where I have like an increased amount of anxiety coming from the world is because, I didn't do what makes my heart happy and what makes me feel good and feel complete. So the reason why I make time for prayer and doing a devotional, even if it's not every day, is because it's something that's really important to me. I really want to just, like invest my heart and my time to Jesus and let Him kind of lead the way for the day. And I feel like this little time that I set aside for myself is a way for Him to show me how He's working in my life and how He continues to work and show me new mercies for the day. Are or were you ever hesitant to be open about your faith, thinking people would judge? Yes and no. I mean, for all of us Christians, we're going to hit a point in our life, or we have had a time, where it is honestly kind of hard and a little uncomfortable to talk about our faith, especially with people that don't know about it. What I try to think of and focus on is not trying to be so caught up with having the perfect words to say, because I feel like that one thought is just so stressful and just throws all this anxiety on you that you just don't need. And it's just extra weight that needs to be lifted. And in order to do that, we need to overcome that by just allowing and recognizing that God is the only person that has control to change people. It's not up to us. So even with our words, that's not even enough to change a person, because we don't have that capability to change people, only God does. So that's something to recognize, and I think it's super important when it comes to talking and sharing about what we believe with people, whether they follow the faith or not. All right, I'm so happy I got through this because my camera battery is dying. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope that you guys were encouraged and inspired to start conversations of faith with friends, family, whoever you want to share the faith to. Go out and do it. Honestly, just share your heart and just let God lead you no matter how you do so. And I know you're going to do amazing, and just keep shining your light for Christ. So until the next vlog, the next video, all right, whatever it ends up being. Until the next video, keep shining your light and delight in God's goodness. Bye, guys.